Okay, welcome to this episode of Ask Mike. What we're going to speak about today is a question that we get asked fairly regularly, which is what's the best guitar for a beginner guitarist? So if you're just learning guitar or you're looking to buy a guitar for somebody and you just want to know what's the best guitar that you can get them, it's this. Just a plain old steel stringed acoustic guitar. And there's several reasons for this. One of the problems that I see with a lot of our students is they get electric guitars because they want to be, they want to be like a guitar hero. They want to play lead guitar. They want to play solos, and that's what they perceive the guitar as being. But the problem is if you get an electric guitar, there's a lot more going on an electric guitar than there is on an acoustic guitar. So on an electric guitar, you've got volume controls, tone controls, you've got different pickup selectors. They all affect the way the guitar sounds, and of course, with an electric guitar, you need to play through an amp. And most beginners get really rubbish guitar amps that don't sound that good and are quite hard to EQ and to make them sound good. So the reason why I massively prefer people who are beginners to learn on an acoustic guitar is that it's much easier to make an acoustic guitar sound good. And for that reason alone, it's the hands down winner. There's a couple of caveats to that. One is that a lot of beginner acoustic guitars are nylon string. They tend to be classical guitars. And I think that's because they're the cheapest ones to make. So if you're a parent and you go into a shop and you say, hi, I want to buy a guitar for, my kid who's learning, or it's a birthday present or a Christmas present or whatever, quite a lot of the time they will try and sell you a nylon string guitar. And the big problem with that is those guitars tend to have really thick necks on them. So what that means is it makes them a lot harder to play. So people kind of buy a guitar thinking, that this is ideal for a beginner, but actually nothing can be worse for a beginner than a thick-necked guitar. So what you want is a standard steel-stringed acoustic guitar, ideally one with a nice thin neck. Remember guys, we love making these videos for you on YouTube, but remember our best stuff is over on our website. It's not here on YouTube, so go over to nationalguitaracademy.com and you'll find tons of stuff there that will help you become a better guitarist and deepen your knowledge of the instrument. And ultimately, our goal is to help you become the guitarist of your dreams. Head over to our website, nationalguitaracademy.com. And in an ideal world, you should never really buy a guitar that you haven't actually tried and got hands on with. What you'll find is that on certain acoustic guitars, when you try and get your arm, even if you can't play a single chord yet, just try and get your hand around it and feel it. And the neck of some guitars, weirdly, there's a massive variation in how thick they are. You would think it would just be like a standard thickness, but that's not the case. So if you get a guitar neck that's really thick, it's hard to get your fingers around, which makes it harder to play chords, which makes it harder to cleanly fret the notes, and it means your fingers need to stretch more to play. But also, the other thing to consider here, and this is the final thing, is the type of strings that are on the guitar. Now, nearly all guitars come with kind of relatively thick strings on them, and that's because that makes the guitar a bit louder. So when you play it in a shop environment, it makes the guitar sound fuller and a bit stronger. So most guitars in a guitar shop have medium gauge strings on, and they're really, really hard for beginners to play. For beginner guitarists, your fingers won't be toughened up very much yet. So for that reason, you need extra light strings to be put on the guitar. Okay, so you can see the criteria here. I'm trying to make it clearer and clearer as we go along. We want steel strings, we want an acoustic guitar, we want a thin neck, and we want extra light gauge strings to be put on the guitar. Now that's not a big problem. A lot of beginners think like, I've got to get the guitar restrung. It's not a big problem. It's a very frequent exercise to replace the strings on your guitar. I change mine every couple of weeks. Your local guitar shop will restring the guitar for you for about 10 quid, $10, something like that. So if you take it, if you're buying a guitar from them, then you can say, hey, can you put some extra light gauge strings on it for me as well? And that whole thing, if you're buying the guitar, they'll usually do that for, $15, $20 at the most. They'll include the new extra light strings, and they'll restring the guitar for you. So I've thrown a lot at you in this video, but just to summarize, the best beginner guitar is an acoustic guitar. It's got steel strings on it, it's got a thin neck, and it's also got extra light gauge strings on it. So I hope that helps. This is a question we get asked all the time, so I know that a lot of people worry about this. But just one little caveat that I'd like to say is you can learn guitar on any guitar. So don't feel too bad about it if you don't have the perfect setup. You know, you can learn guitar on any guitar, but it's definitely a lot easier on the steel string, the acoustic guitar with a thin neck and extra light gauge strings. When you're learning the guitar, you want to just make things easy as they can be, because learning the guitar can be tough. So don't add extra obstacles to that. You just want things to be as easy as they can be. Remember to get a summary of what we've discussed here and to get extra tips. If you look in the video description, you'll find links that go to some guides on our site that make all of this really clear, give you more specific examples, and it hopefully will kind of summarize all of the things that we've touched on here in the video. Hope this video helps. I'll catch you in the next one.